Hey, XRP community, it's Leo here, and welcome to this in-depth exploration of the latest developments surrounding XRP on this pivotal day, November 24th, 2025. As XRP trades at 2.08, we're seeing a confluence of regulatory milestones, institutional filings, and technological integrations that could reshape the landscape for digital assets in cross-border payments. This isn't about quick wins or speculation. It's an educational breakdown of verifiable news, on-chain data, and expert analyses pulled fresh from today's X discussions. We'll dissect the facts step by step, integrate real-time community insights, and address key questions to help you understand the mechanics at play. Remember, throughout this discussion, this is purely informational and not financial advice. Always do your own research and consult professionals before making any decisions. Let's kick things off with the headline that's dominating feeds right now. The NYSE approval for Franklin Templeton's spot XRP ETF, set to launch under the ticker XRPZ today. According to filings reported across multiple sources, this marks a significant step toward broader institutional access to XRP. Grayscale's XRP Trust follows suit tomorrow, with Canary Capital and others in the pipeline. To put this in context, recall how Bitcoin's ETF approvals in early 2024 drew in over $15 billion in the first quarter alone, stabilizing prices and enhancing liquidity. For XRP, with its focus on efficient remittances, handling 1,500 transactions per second at fractions of a cent, these vehicles could similarly amplify adoption without the volatility spikes we've seen in less utility-driven assets. But why now? Jump into today's X Buzz, where at XRP-I Intel Wire dropped a thread at 8 a.m. ET. Franklin Templeton achieves NYSE approval for first XRP ETF. XRPZ launches today. With over 500 views already, the post links directly to the SEC form S1 amendment, highlighting a 0.19% expense ratio that's competitive enough to attract conservative funds. Replies are pouring in, with users like at CryptoExpress_1 echoing, "Raise your hand if you still believe in XRP." A sentiment backed by Nansen data showing 21,000 new retail wallets added yesterday. This isn't isolated hype, it's a response to the Clarity for Payment Stablecoins Act, expected for markup this month, which could provide the regulatory guardrails institutions crave. Pacing this like a structured seminar, let's break down the technical backbone, because grasping ISO 2022's rollout is essential for seeing XRP's positioning. As of November 22nd, this global messaging standard went live across 70+ countries, replacing outdated MT formats with richer data fields for faster, more secure transfers. Ripple has been ISO compliant since 2018, integrating XRP as a bridge currency via on-demand liquidity, ODL. Analogy time. Legacy systems like Swift are akin to mailing letters via carrier pigeon, reliable but slow and costly at $27 billion in annual fees. XRPL, it's the email equivalent, instantaneous, verifiable, and scalable. At the Crypto Basics analyst thread today, racking up 104 likes, states plainly, "Today begins an epic story for XRP as Wall Street will bow to XRP." They cite projections from Deloitte. If just 1% of the $120 trillion cross-border market shifts to compliant rails like XRPL, daily throughput could hit $10 billion, purely based on existing partnerships with over 300 institutions. Rhetorical question to keep us engaged. How does this tie into the stablecoin surge? Ripple's RLUSD, now scaling at 300% month-over-month per their Q3 metrics, isn't a competitor to USDT, it's a complement, enabling yield-bearing deposits on XRPL for tokenized assets. Willy Wonka XRP's morning chart post breaks it down. The higher high is coming, listing ISO Live, RLUSD growth, and on-chain lending via Ripple custody. With 28 likes and climbing, the thread overlays Glassnode data showing top 100 addresses accumulating 200 million XRP in November. This isn't guesswork. Santander's reports confirm XRPL's 100% uptime since 2012, making it the go-to for pilots in the Middle East and Asia. We're about 10 minutes in, and to build depth, let's explore community reactions methodically. Hos Bagger Haglund's post from this morning, 50 plus fire emojis, outlines. November 24th to 25th, Grayscale XRP ETF, Franklin Templeton XRP ETF, ISO 20022 mandatory globally. It's a timeline that's sparking debates and replies, with users questioning short interest at 8 to 12%. CoinGlass data verifies $1 billion in underwater shorts last week, a classic setup for reduced selling pressure as margins compound. Over on at Rip Bullwinkle's video thread, already at 12,000 views, XRP price, shock incoming. He analogies the ecosystem to the internet's early days, regulatory hurdles fading, adoption accelerating. Educational note, XRPL's atomic swaps ensure seamless interoperability, a feature absent in many chains, per recent ECB assessments on stablecoin resilience, transitioning to on-chain realities, because numbers don't lie. Binance reserves for XRP are down 15% week over week, per at XRPI Intel Wire's noon update. Perfect storm brewing, Binance's shrinking XRP supply could trigger a massive Ripple's XRP rocket. This liquidity crunch, combined with dark pools activating soon, tests support at $1.96, but signals smart money inflows. At XFinance Bull spots it. If we see 25 million hit, that's already a statement, but 75 million would be pure confirmation that the big wallets are waking up. Glassnode echoes. Whale activity up 20% in Q4. For clarity, dark pools are off-exchange venues that enhance privacy and efficiency, ideal for XRP's institutional use case, reducing slippage in high-volume trades. Let's pause for a what-if scenario grounded in data. What if ETF inflows mirror Bitcoin's, but scaled for XRP's utility? JP Morgan models suggest 20 to 30% quarterly gains from ODL integrations alone. Bitcoin MagNL's update cuts through. XRP surges towards 2.05, fueled by ETF hype. Bitcoin faces predictions from 0 to 500k. RSI on TradingView shows XRP rebounding from oversold at 28, with MACD signaling a bullish crossover. This decoupling from BTC, now at 81k, highlights XRP's independent momentum, driven by real-world pilots like Santander's remittance corridors. Diving deeper into regulatory layers, because this is where education shines. The SEC's 2026 priorities omit digital assets for the first time, per their release. Enforcement down 30% under the new chair. At XRP INTELW, IRE links it. The fight against SEC legal overhang is over. The path is clearer. Post-2023 ruling, XRP's up 150% YTD per CoinMarketCap. The Clarity Act, slated for December 22nd vote, defines stablecoins and bridges, potentially unlocking $50 billion in tokenized assets on XRPL by Q2 2026, as forecasted by Ripple's roadmap. Community voices add color. At Coach Laurie's Raw Take, XRP is literally about to detonate. Hold the line. His 48-hour recap video details wallet spikes, with Nansen logging 21,000 new holders. But let's balance with skeptics. At R00K's post-quips, XRP perma bull. YouTube, cult's price going to $100. Normies want a taste and they believe. Fair point. Sentiment can overshoot. Yet Forbes' recent pivot, as dissected by At the Modern Investor, credits XRP's compliance edge, flipping from critic to cautious optimist based on ISO alignment. Extending this analysis, consider RLUSD's role in yield generation. Ripple's execs outlined upgrades for on-chain lending in a recent filing, enabling banks to collateralize assets directly on XRPL. At Zone Meme Central's Supply Shock post, sounds like supply shock is coming XRP. Links to mechanics where off-chain reserves drop, boosting on-ledger demand. Projections from Deloitte peg $10 trillion in tokenized RWAS by 2030, with XRPL capturing a slice via its speed and low costs. Visualize the charts here. Green volume bars stacking as RSI climbs to 55. At XRP, Intel wires 1 p.m. alert. Ripple just flipped the script with a landmark international banking deal, cementing XRP's role as the backbone. An Asian consortium via ODL, transactions from days to seconds. ECB's stablecoin warnings, they underscore XRP's full reserve model, no fractional risks. Halfway through our session, about 30 minutes, and let's layer in historical parallels for perspective. XRP's 2017 surge from 20 cents to $3.84 was fueled by early Asian bank pilots. Today's ETF clarity echoes that, but with global scale. At Michael 6, 3140627 reposts, the analyst Epic, analyst says today, begins an epic story for XRP as Wall Street will bow to XRP. The Crypto Basic article details inflows potentially 5 times in market cap in Q1, based on BTC precedents adjusted for utility. As an insider who's tracked this since 2017, the ecosystem's evolution, from underdog to linchpin, is evident in metrics. At Life of Finance 12, they tie it to XDC and XLM synergies, noting shared ISO compliance. Ripple's Q3 report, 300 plus partners, queuing for tokenization and prime brokerage. Forbes' 2030 outlook via at Ripple-Winkle. Steady growth to multi-dollar levels, accelerated by regs. Amping the detail? What if on shorts? CoinGlass shows $1 billion underwater. A grayscale launch squeeze could test $2.35 resistance. XRP INTELW IRE. XRP's hold above the 1.96 to 2.05 support zone is no accident. Bullish MACD confirmed. Tease ahead. We'll counter myths next, but first, at the Crypto Basics thread, Wall Street's bow is math. XRP's $116 billion cap versus Ethereum's DeFi inefficiencies. RLUSD deep dive, pegged 1-to-1 USD, yield via XRPLAMMS, growing 300% month over month. At XRP INTELW IRE, Ripple executive identifies key upgrades required to modernize financial rails on-chain. Q1 2026 Japan rollout, liquidity to $50 billion potential per models, shorts at 8 to 12% burn at Bagger-Haglund notes. Conversational pivot, BTC's $81,000 to $88,000 swings. XRP decouples, steady at $2.08. At Bitcoin, Magnell, XRP leads. Change Heroes, XRPL awards for speed reinforce. At X-Finance Bull, 75 million transfers signal whales. At Rip Bull, Winkle's shock video, 420 likes, $200 XRP next. Math, ETF times utility, replies, HODL. Community Fuel, comment your thoughts. Now 45 minutes in, addressing pain points educationally. Myth 1. SEC doom lingers. Fact. Actions down 30%. Clarity inbound. At XRP, Intel wire. Overhang over. Analogy. Storm past. Clarity emerges. Myth 2. ETFs won't impact like BTC. Counter. XRP's payments multiplier. $4 to $8 billion inflows projected per filings. Author Crypto Basic, Epic starts today. Myth 3, supply shock overhyped. Data, Binance minus 15%, dark pools soon. ICE Blue 3 Panda 589, ISO unlock November 22nd, clarity December 22nd. These aren't defenses, they're frameworks. Michael 631400627, 66 likes, Epic link. The convergence, ISO plus E, TFS plus R, LUSD. Climactic synthesis. Facts align for ecosystem growth. ETFS live, supply titans, tech upgrades. Uplifting recap, years of building yield resilience. Not advice, DAO. If this analysis resonated, like for more breakdowns, comment your key takeaway, subscribe for updates, share thoughtfully. Let's discuss XRP's role in finance together. Leo signing off. Knowledge is power.